So I'll pass over to Dave Gallichio. He's going to go through a bit of big picture stuff.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks everyone for having me. Good to be over in WA. I was a bit shocked when I got off the plane yesterday morning. It was cold. It was in Melbourne, but anyway, we've survived and we're here. So look, yeah, appreciate the opportunity to talk. And any questions as I'm going through, just jump in, interrupt. I don't mind. I don't stand on lots. Actually, just to shift it through. No need to. No issues with anyone jumping in. I'm not going to go over this too much in detail, but I guess the topic of everything that we're doing at the moment is the need for change. Why you're all in clubland, you all understand what's going on out there. There's a couple of slides after this that show that declining graph that we all are unfortunately aware of at the moment, so we don't need to talk too much about that in detail, but GA knows it, we acknowledge it, we understand it, and we understand that there is a need for change in what we're doing in a participation space, what states are doing, and what we're all doing as an industry. So as it says, it's a challenge for us, but it provides us with opportunities. And this is the graph that I do refer to. And our goal, there's a lot of words on that page, but in short, increased participation and sustainability for our sport. It's about getting people to play, yes, but bringing people through and just churning. I'm sure you all see it in your clubs from time to time. That's not sustainable. We need to have we need to have programs out there, membership offerings in market that are really going to ensure that people are going to be able to enjoy the game, for a considerable time going forward. So I guess what we're doing to reverse this trend, there are four main things that we're looking at in development at the moment. Club development sits outside of this. It wasn't something I wanted to dive into too much detail with today because I could spend the whole time discussing it. It's really more around purely the participation space. Four key things: PlayGolf, MYGolf, females, casual golfer strategy, and I'll jump into these and go into them in a bit more detail. PlayGolf.com.au is a website you may or may not be aware of. You probably saw it during the President's Cup in 2011 as an outsider looking in. It was and watching the President's Cup on telly. It was certainly something that I took notice of. It's a website that started off with a very clear and simple, simple goal. And unfortunately, it's grown into something a little bit bigger than Ben-Hur. At the moment, we're refreshing it. We've just got some concepts I've seen come through via email just as I got out of the car here, so I haven't looked at them yet. But the focus on that website is playing golf, and it's about how we can give people information about how they can play, how they can improve. We're going to start working with the PGA on this website to make sure that it's really a one-stop shop for people looking for info on how to play and get into golf. Most importantly, it's going to be used as a national participation brand in advertising campaigns. My background is in cricket, and if I'm being honest, the budget that I have for the programs I run was significantly, nearly as much as Golf Australia's budget, full stop. And that's the challenge that we have. We have for a little bit less money than other sports, but yet we need to compete in that marketplace for the same type of people that those other sports are targeting. So juniors, females, club members, we're all looking at the same people. It's not just sport. I'm sure you all realise it's going to the movies or going to the playground or out for dinner or all these things. So while it's very important for us to promote brands such as MyGolf, if you look at it at a top level, if we can put everything under that one brand like PlayGolf, then that's successful. And I'm happy to say that there will be a very large campaign in market towards the end of this year. Timeline's August 2013 onwards. That's for the development of concepts and head into market heading into the summer, which will have close to a 7-figure spend attached to it, which is fantastic. And we hope to have Adam Scott as the face of that. That's being finalised over at Muirfield over the next couple of weeks. So it's very exciting. I don't generally, when I have marketers and advertisers and agencies sitting in front of me, my heart rate never really rises above resting because most of what they're shoving at us is rubbish. But I've seen the concepts for this and it is unbelievable. And if we can get it off the ground, it really will be, it'll be something great for our sport. Probably the TV campaign that's been done since the President's Cup, I dare say, on a national level. I'm not sure if you guys have done anything over here, no, but certainly on a national level. So it is exciting, and using PlayGolf as the brand for that, rather than putting a little bit of spend here and a little bit of spend there, we can promote one brand which will get all the information out there that we need. Matt touched on MYGolf and what we're doing with MYGolf at the moment. He was correct with what he said. We're working with the PGA very closely. We've signed a joint venture with the PGA around the MYGolf program, and what that will mean is that the Pump Golf program and what makes up the Pump Golf program will actually be branded MYGolf from this point. A lot of the feedback that I hear when I'm out, and I've been to a couple of these forums over the last few months in various states, is that, you know, we from everyone from general managers, junior coordinators, community coaches, it's that, well, you know, we want to run junior programs and we want to align with, you know, we want to align with GA or the PGA, but there's so many options out there, and I guess from, I don't know, with what we're looking to do, GA and the PGA is the national amateur and professional bodies, we're trying to make it a lot simpler. And so by aligning together under the one brand, there's obviously a lot more work to do on product and how all that will look, and the MYGolf Tour concept over here. Quite frankly, you know, the guys, what they've done over here is great with that, and that's certainly something, you know, to look at, take it on a national level. You know, we're putting a lot of hard work into it at the moment. We're working very closely with the Australian Sports Commission and various consultants to make sure we get this right. So we're looking at a national relaunch around about term 1 next year, with potentially during the Opens and the PGA Championship later this year, potentially having a few little tasters and teasers going in the market around then. But it's exciting. We all know that we need a vibrant junior program to be successful as a sport. Matt also touched on females, and this is what I just want to give a little bit of info about. There's a lot of female programs that run across Australia. Clubs do a lot of different things, states do a lot of different things. GA have tried a lot of things over the years. I don't think there's ever really been one that's really captured widespread attention in the market. What we're looking to do, quite frankly, is we want a bit of a game changer. And I think everyone in this room would acknowledge that there are perceptions that exist around our sport which are not altogether positive, especially when you're talking to females. So what GA are doing, we've appointed a company called McGuire Marketing, who are very, very strong in that marketing and communications and brand space, and they're going, literally they were appointed last Thursday, and there was a whip yesterday while I was on the plane. So I've met with them, and they're two ladies that as part of a bigger business that'll be driving that from their end, and they will really help us challenge perceptions around our sport. And there'll be a lot of times where we'll say, oh well, you know, this is what we're doing, and say, well, why don't you do this? And it'll be challenging and confronting for people that are involved in this process. And we're working with the PGA, the ALPG, state representatives, a huge variety of stakeholders to make sure we can come out with something that really does challenge the perceptions around golf. Some of you will be familiar with the Tennis Australia's cardio tennis program. I know the guys at Tennis Australia really well, and they're very good at what they do. But God bless them, when they created cardio, they'll admit privately over a beer that they actually had no idea it would appeal to the female market like it did. They thought it would be more male dominated. It's now 90-10 female. Sometimes you get lucky. What we're looking to do is make sure we actually put some real thought into it. We don't get lucky. We just get good. And that's what it's going to be about. I haven't put a timeline there, you'll notice. I'm not quite sure myself. I know that the process of just creating concepts and looking at product building will take at least 4 months, but it's important we take the time to get it right. The casual golfer strategy, which is something that I've been working on very heavily the last few weeks especially. The Crown Lager Social Golf Club's been a program that GA rolled out. I believe it would have been around that same time, President's Cup in 2011, and had some great initial cut through. That's a program that we have. It's a program we're now going to move away from. I guess the work that I'm doing at the moment is looking at really the strategy in this area. It's pretty dry and it's pretty unexciting, but GA has three really key things that we want to achieve through this, and that's engage and connect with casual golfers on their terms, develop strong relationships with public access courses across Australia, and promote club membership to casual golfers. And sorry, that's not smaller font up the top because it's less of a key result. It's just it didn't look very good when the text was spread across the page. So those three things are really what we're looking at. And in sport, and I've come from other sports, we love a program. We love a program where people pay X and they get Y. But we're really looking at challenging that thinking, saying, well, is that the best outcome? Maybe working with a casual program is the best type of outcome. You'll all be aware of the Perth Golf Networks and the RACVs and those things. Is that the best way that we can engage and connect with casual golfers on their terms? Maybe, but I also think there are other ways, and we're working heavily on that at the moment, looking to present that to our CEO when he's back from the UK, so pressure's on to get that done and get that right. That's really it from me. There's a lot being done in at GA and working with our states and working with the PGA and the ALPG at the moment. It's an exciting time. There's a lot that we need to do to get right, and a lot of different ways that we're looking to increase participation. But rest assured, participation, at a national level really is starting to take or get really front of mind with our board, with our senior managers, with everyone. And I think, a lot of people say, well, maybe that could have come a little while ago, but the fact is we're here now, and there's a lot of good people looking to do good things. So if there's any specific questions now, I'm happy to answer anything you've got, or at the end, Matt, whatever works for you. And if there's no questions, I'll be happy to just have a seat.
Just one thing, the one that hits me is the casual golfers.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting because there's a lot of people out there that want to have a go, but just don't. And I know that down at our club they've organised a Sunday membership, just for those people. Obviously, there's still things like penance and things like that they can't do, but there's still a bit of fine tuning trying to get it right because they allow them to play, so many other days as well. But it works and gives them a golf handicap, and it's a pretty good idea. They've gained a lot from that. They've actually had to cut a level on it because there's too many.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and I guess that just goes to that bottom point there, and that's connecting casual golfers on their terms. I guess a little bit more info about that. We know we've got about 410,000 club members, but there's a minimum of 800,000 people out there on top of those 400,000 members playing at least once a year. So that's a lot of that. That is, quite frankly, bluntly, a lot of money that's going through our industry, going through our constituent clubs and our public courses. But at the same time, we still don't have a way to talk to those 800,000 people. How are we going to get them into programs like a Sunday membership? How are we going to offer them? How are we going to talk to them to bring them back? And that's really what we're looking at the moment, because it's a very disparate group of 800,000. That's for sure.
Just one other question, please. Developing strong relationship with public golf courses. What's the concept there, or what do you intend?
Yeah. Look,
I'm from El Cabello. We are a public golf course.
Yep. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I guess public access is probably, and I'm sure we all understand that the line between a public and private golf club has been blurred a lot over the last 15 to 20 years. Over here you've got courses like the Links and the Cup, and where I'm from in Victoria, you've got the Mooners and the Sandhursts and all those things, and it's not like it was 20 years ago. So what we're talking about with that is working with public access courses, because I think we'd all agree that you'd have at least 60 to 70% of people who say, all right, well, I'm going to go and play golf, and this happened to me 2.5 years ago. That's all I've been playing the sport for, and now I love it. A mate of mine rang me morning January 2, 2011, said, let's go over here. And with all due respect to the private clubs in the room, it's unlikely that you're going to go to Royal Perth or Coronet or Royal Fremantle. You go to the 9-hole council course just down the road, which is what we did. I was at Albert Park in Melbourne the Sunday after Adam won the Masters earlier this year, and the place was, I'd I went over to see my great aunts over that part of town and thought I'll bring the clubs and have a hit. I haven't played for a little bit. Went to the range and waited 45 minutes for a bait. You know, there was couples, parents with kids, everyone. But then I went back through the driving range, sort of front of house area, and there was no connection to Golf Australia programs, Golf Victoria programs, anything. So it's working with them to make sure that we're running programs through those facilities. We're capturing data and we're talking to the people that are going through. That's step one. There are also plenty of other things that we can do to engage better with those facilities and make sure that, quite frankly, they feel like they're a part of Australian golf. All right, I'll have a seat and let everyone get on with it. Thank you, everyone, for your time.